So within the context of applying for these dream jobs for many of you, I find it quite relevant to take advice. I mean, the first time I heard about being paranoid in business was from Jack Ma, but I believe that this advice very well applies also to job interviews and especially to behavioral interviews. So that's why I'll give you 3 pointers over how can you be paranoid, both preparing and going to a job interview to basically improve your chances to get the job. The first one I want to touch upon here is the quality of the stories. So I see many candidates who have an approach of preparing the stories, for a certain amount of time, and then saying, hey, they're good enough, this is the final list and I'm going to move on. Whereas from experience, it's a better approach, a much better approach would be to loop from writing down, brainstorming those stories, to actually role-playing those stories in the mirror, with a friend, with a coach, or using my free role-play service if you want. And if you do this multiple times, the quality of the stories will significantly improve over time. The challenge here is to alternate and to loop as fast as possible to these cycles to literally ramp up your performance with these things. And one quick note here, it is not uncommon for people to spend 6 months preparing for a behavioral interview to land their dream jobs, right? The second thing I wanted to touch upon here is it is true there are thousands of possible behavioral questions and you'll never be able to prepare all of them. However, I've done some research and I believe this list with around 150 questions does help you to a certain extent, if not only will add you a layer of extra confidence, but I believe it's also a worthwhile exercise that you go through these questions in order for you to simply see, hey, how do I respond to each and every one of these? To build a bit more reflex to answer such types of questions. So going to these lists, once you have, of course, once you're satisfied with your performance, with the quality of your stories, and with some role play, going through these lists is actually, I believe, a very beneficial exercise. And finally, number 3, during an interview, those interviews are intense on purpose, because if they're not intense, then it defends the purpose of behavioral interviewing to really see how you behave in unexpected situations. Or it will, for an interviewer, if the interview is boring, it means that's inconclusive, right? So you should expect them to either make you feel uncomfortable or either to make them feel you comfortable. However, you should never let your guard down in a job interview. You should always listen for clues, and you should be able to get over tense situations quite fast. And I tell you from my experience, I don't know anyone who told me, then it will be a formality. I don't know anyone of these candidates who actually got the job. In fact, I believe most of the time, the candidates that said that I have no idea how it went, I believe, or even worse, I believe I'm going to fail this job interview. It's these types of candidates, that they applied a little bit of paranoia about their performance. They didn't really know how it went because they were so into the discussion. They were listening so closely. Their interviewer is these types of candidates that are more likely to get the jobs from my experience. So these are 3 methods, if you want to be paranoid in preparing and in having a successful job interview. I hope you found this information useful, and thank you very much for watching.